You ask if a guy is injury prone. I think the real question is he prone to putting himself in positions where he gets injured? And that is Carson Wentz, holding the ball longer than he should, letting himself be dragged down by Aaron Donald. What a shock. You got a sprained ankle when the best defensive player, arguably to ever play the game, dragged you down from behind and fell on top of your body. Yes, you should be glad it was only a sprained ankle. Actually, two sprained ankles. Wentz practiced today. Here's the question for the Colts as they get ready to play Derrick Henry and the Titans. Is it better to have Carson Wentz with two ankles completely taped up to the point where he's immobile, or would you rather have Jacob Eason and Brett Hundley? I guess I would take Carson Wentz, and maybe if I can take an immobile Carson Wentz, I don't have to worry about him putting himself in a position where he's going to get injured, Myles.
Well, that's true. But I mean, I think the fact that you have to ask that question is a bit of an indictment on the way that the Colts went about their offseason, right? I mean, Carson Wentz, whether you want to call him injury prone or not, he's often been injured, right? I mean, you can go back to when he sprained the ankles, right? He's had the ACL injury and the back injury that kept him out in 2018. There's been a lot of different things where Carson Wentz has had to miss games due to injury. So with that thought, you really need to have a backup who is ready to go at a moment's notice, because you just feel like there's a chance that Carson Wentz could get hurt. The Eagles took care of that last year when they drafted Jalen Hurts. That was part of the entire impetus for doing something like that. The Colts did not set themselves up well enough, because when Carson Wentz had that injury, the foot injury in training camp, they started off with Jacob Eason and they said some good things about Jacob Eason. And then it was kind of like, oh, well, let's see what Sam Ehlinger can do. And then Sam Ehlinger gets hurt. And you already had Brett Hundley there because he was there. They signed him once Carson Wentz got hurt early on in training camp. But like, when was the last time you ever heard that a practice squad QB was taking first-team reps in practice? I mean, what does that say about Jacob Eason and what they think of him right now? It's not a good backup quarterback situation when you just can't trust the guy that you've had at number 2, backing up your quarterback in the first couple weeks, that you got to say, oh, well, maybe the practice squad guy can do this. And then it's like, maybe not. Carson Wentz, let's just tape up his ankles real good and let's see what he can do. Because an immobile Carson Wentz appears to be the better option between Jacob Eason and Brett Hundley. And that is a weird situation to me.
I remember after the Carson Wentz surgery, and we assumed Jacob Eason would take over until Wentz comes back, whenever it was going to be, and we didn't really know at the time. They were talking about maybe November before he was back. You start hearing about Sam Ehlinger, and it's like, oh, maybe they like the cut of his jib. No, they just really don't like Jacob Eason. They really don't like Jacob Eason. And there was an article back in June where they were raving about Jacob Eason. When he came into the game, we talked about this earlier in the week, Myles. When he came into the game on Sunday, Chris Sims said, here comes the interception, because he tries to make throws he can't make. And yes, he went into the game cold, but still, when you can't hold off the practice squad guy, when you can't hold off the 6th-round rookie, when you can't hold off anybody, that's not an ideal backup plan for the Indianapolis Colts, and they're in danger of their season falling apart, because even if Wentz plays, or if he somehow gets through this stretch and he's healthy again, his playing style is not conducive to staying healthy. And what he has to learn, what they have to coach out of him, is that toughness that borders on hard-headedness, where I'm never going to concede the play, I'm never going to live to fight another day, I'm going to treat every play like it's the last play of the Super Bowl. That's how you get yourself injured, and that's not what Tom Brady's doing. What Tom Brady's doing, the minute the walls close in, he ducks and covers. And if it means firing the ball up into the air and hoping that it doesn't get picked off, he'll do it. And if it gets picked off, so be it. It's better than him getting hit and getting hurt and not being able to play. It's such a basic fundamental truth. If you're a good quarterback, you're useless to the team if you're not playing. You have to approach every snap with that mindset of, if this goes to hell, I need to be ready to abort. Whether that means sit down, like Jim Everett used to be ridiculed for and Peyton Manning was praised for, throw it away, throw it up in the air. I can't take that hit. I can't have Aaron Donald drag me down. I can't get slammed in the ground and break my ribs. I have to be available to play for my team. And it astounds me that it's not as inherent to the thought processes of some of these quarterbacks as it should be, Myles.
No, Well, you're right. But I do want to give Carson Wentz like a little bit of credit for getting back on the field as quickly as he can, from these different types of things. I mean, like you were saying, with the foot injury, initially it was 5 to 12 weeks, which would have meant sometime in November he was returning. And then he got back on the field really quickly. He was practicing by the end of August. And so that he deserves some credit for that. And I think he deserves some credit for getting back on the field really quickly this week too and practicing. Frank Reich said today that, frankly, he was surprised that they were at this point already with Carson Wentz. So I think he deserves some credit for that. But at the same time, you're right. You can't continue to put yourself in harm's way. It's the same thing we were talking about with Baker Mayfield and trying to make a tackle on an interception. Dude, no, it's okay. Like, you know what? The ball's picked off. Like, get out of the way because you have to live to see another day. You can't be going into somebody and hurting your shoulder potentially just because you want to make sure that they're not going to take that ball any further. Like, let somebody else do it because you are useless to the team if you are hurt. And as the quarterback, you're touching the ball every play. They need you. They absolutely need you. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Carson Wentz can, A, play this week, and B, how he protects himself if he does.
To borrow a phrase that was made popular a few years ago by someone whose name currently escapes me, I like guys who don't have to come back quickly from injury.
Jesus, again.
That's what I like.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.